I wish I had some insane clip of me popping my tire before I had to do this tire change, but in reality, this tire just went flat when I walked out to my garage one day, and odds are that might be what happens to you on your scooter tire eventually. Here's a video on how to change your Gotrax GX3 tire. We're going to be putting on these slightly knobbier off-road tires. Nothing wrong with the stock tires, they were great, but I just want something a little bit more for off-roading. This is a pretty easy tire change because they do have a quick disconnect on the motor wire. We're going to start by unscrewing our brake caliper. And take a 21mm socket and loosen your axle nuts. Take some wire snippers and cut the cable tie on your motor wire. Be careful not to cut the actual motor wire. Unscrew and disconnect the motor wire. Feed the motor wire back out and free it up completely. Now it's helpful to put something underneath the scooter so when the wheel falls out, you have somewhere to put it. Take out the axle nuts the rest of the way and use a flathead screwdriver to pry off the lock washers. And your motor should be free at that point. Just slide it out. Take note of where the washers are on the inside. You'll need everything back as it was. Next, we take off our rotor by removing the 6 rotor bolts. We're going to put that back on when we're done here. De-bead the tire by going around the edge and slowly prying it off just to get it separated from the rim. I'm going to do this on both sides. Once you have the tire de-beaded, then you're going to insert one tire iron at 12 o'clock and one at about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. Pry each side over the edge of the rim, and then you should be able to push the rest through with your bare hands. So we'll leave you with just the rim. Inspect your valve core, make sure everything looks good. It's a good idea to inspect the old tire. Try and find out what caused the flat. See if it's anything that was preventable. Clean the rim so that it's ready to install our new tire. Treat your scooter nicely because you're the only one that's going to be cleaning it. Next, we're going to slide the first half of our tire over the rim. If you want to make this very easy, I would recommend using zip ties. You can squeeze these by hand, but it's pretty hard. Find one of these tools, you can hold it and it will clamp it down while you put the zip tie on. And you're going to line it up just like I do here. Slowly push it down. If you have a little bit of bead lubricant, you can put it on here. Please do not use olive oil or any other sort of random substance. It's not really meant for it. If you do get bead lubricant, it will help. You slowly use your knee and shove it down while you start working in both edges. It should go on pretty easily at this point with the zip ties and the bead oil. Just a couple levers here. You can use the axle itself to slide your tire lever over, as you saw. And there you end up with your tire mounted. Now we're just going to take out the zip ties and get some air in this tire. Easiest way to inflate this tire is by using a ratchet strap. Put it around the circumference of the tire and tighten it down all the way. Make sure it's very tight. Then take an air compressor, as high PSI as you can, mine's about 100 PSI. Quickly force the air into the tire. This should seat the bead. Pop off the ratchet strap. Double check the PSI with your pump. Everything looks good to go, so we're going to reassemble, starting with our rotor. Put the 6 rotor bolts back in. Put our washers on our axle. Make sure everything's back the way you had it before. You should be able to go back in this video even and see how it was. At the beginning, if you don't really pay attention, but every time you take your scooter apart, you should really be taking pictures and noting everything that you take apart so you know how it goes back together, regardless of relying on somebody else like me. We're gonna tighten our axle nuts back down. Now it helps to lift the scooter up a bit. Give it a spin, make sure everything looks straight, make sure everything is lined up perfectly. Connect our motor wire back. Make sure you push it really tight and then screw it on. Add that cable tie that we cut off as well. You don't want these motor wires dangling anywhere they're not supposed to be. Also screw the motor wire hook down below. A caliper gap setting tool on the rotor itself. You want a brake pad spreader to separate your brakes. This will help set this brake perfectly in the middle. And you want to tighten both screws down 90% of the way. Pull your brake handle as you tighten it the last 10%. And your scooter should be good to go. Give it a couple spins, make sure everything is quiet, nothing's rubbing, and enjoy the ride.